Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to continue on with the Polish Beer Month, but we've got something a little bit different again for you today. So we're going to go to a place called Tyniec, which is in Krakow in southern Poland, and we're having a taste of a beer from Produkty Benedyktynskie, and this one should be really nice. This one is called Piwo Opata, and it's actually a Viennese style lager beer, so it should be quite nice. I've also seen it described as a Viennese amber, so I think regardless we're going to have quite a nice caramel and malty sort of lager style beer for this one. A huge thank you to Robert, my friend Dominica's cousin, for giving me this beer to review. He said this is one that he really enjoys and he hoped that I would enjoy it too, so thank you to Robert for getting the beer, and thank you to Dominica for bringing it back to Sweden for me. Much appreciated guys, and thank you for supporting the channel. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. In this case I'll tell you about the monastery that the brewery is associated with, but if you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the video description below. That's the brewery and monastery website for this one, the link that will take you to my future reviews that I'll do from these guys. Robert did give me two of their other beers to review, so you will see those over the course of this Polish Beer Month as well. And there's all the usual social media things down there, Facebook, Twitter and Untappd, so please follow me on there. Your support would be much appreciated, and if you do want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. And I do apologise in advance for any bad Polish pronunciations in this video. As I always say, it's a very, very difficult language to pronounce. Even as hard as I try to get pronunciations right on the video, it's not always possible. But please do get in touch from Poland and let me know some of your favourite Polish beers and breweries that you would like me to review. But anyway, to tell you about this one, so this company is associated with the Tyniec Benedictine Monastery in Krakow, and Tyniec actually used to be a separate village, but it was incorporated into the city of Krakow officially in the year 1973. But the abbey is thought to have been founded by King Casimir the Restorer in 1044, and it's located on the right bank of the Vistula River, about 12 kilometres to the southwest of Krakow city centre. And in ancient times it was actually an important stop in the trade routes to Moravia and to Bohemia, and the monastery was started by the Benedictines upon invitation by the King of Poland, and he essentially wanted to shore up the position of church and stay under his rulership. But apparently some historians will also argue that the monastery was in fact founded by Casimir's son Boleslav II, who was described as the Generous. Boleslav II the Generous. But the abbey buildings have been remodelled since they were destroyed quite a few times. They were destroyed during several raids, some of those by the Tatars, some by the Czechs, and then during the Swedish invasion, which I think was the 30 Years' War, and also during the Bar Confederation as well, which was when the Polish resisted Russification during the Deluge period. But the abbey was dissolved by the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1816, and then it was part of the seat of the Bishop of Tyniec, Grzegorz Ziegler, from 1821 to 1826. Despite this though, the monks didn't return until 1939, and they began to renovate the monastery in 1947, and by 1968 the church was once again dedicated to Peter and Paul, and the renovated buildings are actually partly Baroque and some of them are also Gothic as well. It looks a very beautiful monastery that they've got there. If you do search it in the description, if you do search for it on Google, you will see some really nice pictures. But today the monastery is apparently the oldest one in Poland that is still operating. But as part of their current upkeep, if you like, one of the things that they do is they produce food, they produce cosmetics, herbs and a whole load of other things. They also produce cider, wine, liqueurs, beer, vodka and mead. So they've got some really interesting products there, and despite this monastery actually being from Krakow, all the beers are actually brewed at Brower Furman, which is in a place called Polczyn-Zdrój, which is between Gdańsk and Szczecin. So even though Krakow is kind of in the sort of central part of the south of Poland, this beer is brewed away up in the northeast actually. If you remember rightly, Gdańsk is kind of on the coast, on the north coast in the middle of Poland, and then you've got Szczecin, which is away over by the German border. So yeah, the beer's brewed quite a bit of distance away from the actual monastery itself, which is quite interesting. So the other beers you can get from these guys, you get the Opata, the Tynieckie, the Benedyktynskie and also the Piwo as well. So there's quite a few different styles of beers. They're all kind of brewed on traditional monk styles. So as I say, this one is an old Viennese sort of amber lager beer. So it should be a very interesting one for us to review. So without further ado then, let's get on to the tasting of this one. If you want to read more about the monastery or Brother Fuhrmann, where this beer is brewed. I'm sure you can do that. Just have a Google around, and the website link to the monastery is also in the description for you below. So let's have a look at the artwork of this one just before we get it open. So as you can see, it's quite nicely presented. All the beers that they produce are actually presented in a very similar way, just different colour labels, but they all have this Produkty Benedyktynskie on them as well. You can see it's got one of these nice kind of foily caps on it. But yeah, it looks really nice. Jasne Pełne, which I think just means a kind of, I'm not sure exactly what that means. As I say, Polish is a very difficult language, but this one comes in at 5.5%, and as I mentioned to you, it's supposed to be a kind of Viennese lager style beer, or a sort of Viennese amber. So without further ado then, let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting. So yeah, you can see nice foily cap on this one, just plain, and we'll get it out and into the glass. But I had no idea there was actually monastery breweries still going in Poland. I didn't even know that they existed. Of course, that sort of thing is more common in Germany with the likes of Weihenstephan, I think Andes as well, Weltenberg and all these places. And in Belgium, of course, you've got the Trappist monasteries that do this as well. I never thought you would find one in Poland, so that's actually really quite cool. But as you can see, and as you would expect when it's a Viennese lager beer, it's poured a really nice, quite rich goldeny amber colour. There's a quarter finger of a frothy kind of white coloured head on this one. You can see the beer as well is crystal clear. It's really quite nicely, it's a really nice looking beer actually. There's a lot of carbonation visible in this one too. You can see some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass there, and also some nice little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head. It's a very, very attractive looking beer. So let's have a look at the aroma of this one before we get stuck in. As I always say, you should always do this. It smells very much like a sort of German, South German, Bavarian, Austrian kind of beer, this. You can just pick up, sometimes you get these noble hoppy characters that come out, and you can really pick that up. Wonder if they put some of the Saps hop in this one actually. But yeah, really nice bready character, as you would always expect from these Viennese, from these Austrian and German style beers. Some nice bready character, a lot of kind of rich caramel and biscuity, almost like a sort of butterscotch aroma coming out of this one. Smells really nice. You can also pick up a bit of nutty character as well. Definitely some grassy hops in there. It smells really nice actually. A lot of people say that some of these German style beers can be a bit boring compared to the American ones. I've heard a lot of craft beer people say that, but they really aren't. I love German beers, and I've not tried too many of the Austrian beers. I really need to go to Austria and get some more Austrian beers to review for you, because it's a style. I loved the ones in Baden-Württemberg when I lived there, and the Bavarian beers are also beautiful. So I really need to get myself back to Austria and try some of the different styles down there. But this one smells really nice. As I say, nice caramelly malts, some biscuity grainy character in there, good bit of breadiness, but quite a bit of butterscotch as well. It's almost like a toasted bready character, kind of sort of, we would say in Britain, sort of toast if you like, or in Scotland I should say. We would just say toast, like bread and butter. It smells like that one, but some nice noble hops in there, a little touch of earthy character, but mainly quite floral and grassy. So overall, very nice smelling beer. Let's get stuck into this one then. This is the Piwo Opata from Benedykty Produkty, how do you say it again? Produkty Benedyktynskie from Krakow in Warsaw, or Tyniec I should say, in Krakow in Poland. Na zdrowie. Yeah, that is a nice beer. I haven't had too many of these Viennese lager beers or Viennese ambers, but this one is really quite nice actually. I can see why Robert likes this one. You know, it's a light, quite sessionable beer. From what Robert told me, he isn't too much into different beer tastings, but he does enjoy ones like this, and I can see why. If you're not so much into the likes of craft beer, you know, the barley wines and imperial stouts and things like that, but you want a more flavourful kind of lagerish beer, then this is probably the ideal candidate. Yeah, I love these European styles of beers. You know, the Czech Pilsen, the Vienna Lager. As I say, I'm not too educated in that one though. The Munich Helles beers, the Dortmund Helles beers. These Central European styles of beers are absolutely beautiful. But then this one is really nice. This is a very nice, quite tasty, but still light and sessionable beer. But yeah, as I always say, just sugar it around your mouth a little bit and let the whole palate adjust to it before you start dissecting the flavour. But the thing that's about this beer is that you'll notice if you take a smell of the aroma, the taste isn't anything really different from what you expect. There's a nice bready character just goes across the middle of the palate, a little bit like a sort of German rye character actually that goes into that you get in a lot of these beers. It's a nice German rye bready character. On top of that there's some kind of cereally biscuity malts in there which give it a little bit of sweetness, and some richer caramel as you just go right down the middle of the palate. Very, very nicely done. A little bit of nutty and maybe woody flavour in there as well. Yeah, this is really nice. I can see why Robert uses this as a kind of go-to beer. It was very good, and when I looked up the price of it as well actually, it was only about 5 zlotys for a bottle, so that's like £1, or I guess you know, €1.50, something like that. So it's very, very cheap, and for the price it's actually a very good quality beer as well. That's a really nice beer, that. Certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again. Nowhere near as complex of course as some of these American style beers that you're going to come across. Like I said, imperial stouts, barley wines, double IPAs and things like that. This is definitely one of these more kind of classic go-to and easy drinking beers, and I enjoy these as well. I'll say that straight up. I might get slated by some people for being a beer reviewer and saying that I like the beers that aren't you know, huge in flavour and things like that, but these ones that are nice and subtle and drinkable, I do enjoy them as well. I love German beer, and I love the, you know, these Viennese style lagers. I've not tried too many of them, but they're quite similar in feel and character to the German beers, but they are distinctive within their own right as well, and I do enjoy this style too. So if you get the chance, check out the Piwo Opata from Produkty Benedyktynskie in Krakow and Warsaw. This is really nice and really enjoyable. So on the hoppy side of things, as you would expect, at the back corner of the palate there's just a little bit of earthy character, but most of the hops come out around the front part of the palate. There's some smooth grassiness in there, a little bit of floral aromatic character. Very, very nicely done. You know, it's a typical Viennese, kind of Viennese lager style beer. It has everything you could expect from the style, and it's also quite light and quite drinkable. In terms of the mouthfeel, I'd say it's fair to describe this beer as being mid-bodied. It's got quite a smooth carbonation to it, which is typical of Austrian and German beers, and it's got a nice oily mouthfeel to it as well. That helps bring out some of the nice malty sweetness that you get in this beer. As I said, a nice kind of German, almost German rye bread malt base to this one. Some sweet caramel oily character in there too, and just a little bit of cereally kind of biscuity character as well. It's very, very nice. Wouldn't hesitate to drink this beer again. There is a little bit of dryness from the hoppy flavour, from the hoppy parts of the beer as well, but overall it's more a malt forward beer, this, but you will enjoy it if you try. If you enjoy Munich Helles beers, if you enjoy Viennese lagers, then you will enjoy this style of beer. Pretty much if you like any of the German style light sessionable beers, you will enjoy this one. So this is a very pleasant find, and once again thank you to Robert for providing me with this beer. Really cool actually, and always interesting to see what other people from other countries enjoy drinking. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. If it was on tap, I'd love to try it and see how it comes out there as well. I think it would be even more malty and even more sweet on tap, so maybe when I go back to Poland I can find it on tap somewhere. So yeah, as I said, go and check out the Piwo Opata from Produkty Benedyktynskie in Krakow in Poland. Yeah, very nice beer, very light and very sessionable. So I'm going to go away and enjoy the rest of this myself now. But I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. As always, let me know in the comment section below your own thoughts on this one. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos. To those of you watching in Poland, sorry again about the pronunciations, but please do get in touch and let me know your own thoughts on this beer. Always interested to hear from you guys. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my social media things too, but most importantly, go and try some of the Produkty Benedyktynskie beers from Krakow in Poland. Very nice, and I've enjoyed this one, so I look forward to reviewing the other two. Slange just now, and I will catch you soon. Na zdrowie.